Hey, one another fun, exciting home football game, Andrea. They have drama at home, the two conference games. You got to give them that. They give their fans their money's worth.
That's definitely true. Nobody should be leaving in the third quarter,
Well, it's a wild game from the standpoint they get behind 14-0. The defense is struggling early like he did earlier in the season. Some people are up there that hadn't seen him in 2 or 3 weeks in the press box saying things like, oh, man, same old Cowboys. And we had seen them at A&M in Nebraska and knew the defense had improved some and knew the offense was clicking better. And sure enough, they get it going. And then, of course, Parrish Cox has the huge kickoff return. About the time they're in big trouble, he gets one of them right away in like 10 seconds. You go from 21-7 to 21-14.
That was a really big play for a couple of reasons. A, he had blown the coverage the play before. Jordan Nelson got the touchdown.
And Gundy said he fell asleep, by the way. He basically said he thought the play was over, and it's like all young kids learn. The play's not over till you hear the whistle. He learned that lesson.
Yeah, and that was all on him. And then, and he's saying, you get out, you go out there. I've talked to him afterward, and he's like, you get screamed at. And he's like, it's really nice to be able to redeem yourself that quickly. He goes out there for the return. 98 yards, just the fourth longest in OSU history, and the longest since Barry Sanders in '88. So really big return, and that was really important. It really kept them in that game when they were not looking very good.
Well, before we move on to too many other things, special teams have been suspect in Big 12 play for the Cowboys, and Kansas State's one of the best. And so not only do they have that one, Devereaux gives them a huge return to set up the game-winning field goal that may be lost in the shuffle. But, he gets them out to 40 when they're out of time and they're not passing the ball well. They want to run it. He gives them a chance to run it. And then Jason Ricks, even though it's a chip shot field goal, they try to freeze him 3 times. He got off to a semi-slow start this year, barely missing, but the fact they freeze you 3 times, nail it. So special teams have been so average for so long have a big impact on this game tonight.
I thought what Mike Gundy had to say afterward was really interesting. Falling over, it's so windy out here. It was really interesting about that when he was saying, Coach Force has been in a little hot water the last couple of weeks. We're good on special teams and we hadn't been, and they were really good tonight. Kansas State was good, but they weren't as good as Oklahoma State.
Oh, Oklahoma State won special teams tonight, and that's why they won. Because
Kansas State made, I was going to say
the punt off the guy's calf was huge because they're still in a big hole, and Kansas State has field possession. Instead, it gives Oklahoma State field possession. Offense, defense. You choose which one we do next, real quick.
Let's go offense.
All right, offense, they have 300-some yards rushing against a team that only been allowing 112 a game, 3.1 yards. I thought Kansas State stats were a little bogus because of the competition, but I don't think anybody realized that they're going to run. Maybe we'll pass. Pettigrew has 1 catch. It's a big one.
It was the only ball thrown at him all night.
Pretty much. Bowman has a couple catches, but they're basically downfield blockers.
Bryant has some big catches.
He had 2 huge catches, but they only complete 19 balls all night long. The guys have big catches.
And Zach Robinson wasn't real accurate tonight, to be honest. He had some misses. He made some bad decisions tonight.
Well, he underthrew some guys. Fedor and those guys said that he had a lot of pressure, and he did. He got sandwiched. He hung in there tough. You got to give him that. He stood in the pocket. He didn't throw as well. But he runs for over 100 yards, and those 300 yards we're talking about, how many times did he make a quick decision? There's a first down. There's a big play. So it's not like Zach played poorly. He threw the ball poorly at times, made a couple bad decisions in the throwing game, but his toughness, staying in the pocket, and some big runs was a big factor in this game. And he threw for 3 touchdowns.
And I think he runs that option really nicely.
Oh, he does. He makes quick reads.
Just good decisions all around. I think he runs really nice. He has very good timing.
Before we skip to the defense, the 3 touchdowns, 3 great catches. 2 by Desi, makes 1 acrobatic. Yeah. Then he takes a little bubble screen that should be tackled at the A, gets in. And then Pettigrew, everybody wants to see it again. Not so much for the getting by everybody diving in Superman style again, is evidently he caught it behind him. We haven't seen replays yet. Did he jukes the guy? It sounds like just an amazing catch. He's had 2 big ones in the Tech end this game, so he once again showed why the NFL scouts like him. Defense. The guys on the field at the end of the game. Gent, Marcus Brown, Terrence Anderson. You know who those people are? I bet you don't. Guess what? They're second and third teamers. But a lot of those guys are fourth quarter only. Kansas State was still getting a lot of yards against the so-called first teamers before Levine leaves the game, before Neathon leaves the game. Fountain doesn't play as much. Collins doesn't play again. Martell doesn't play again. Do we have anybody first team left on the off?
Let's say this for the OSU defense. No team has ever been more excited about having a bye week on a particular week than this defense. They need that so bad. Let some of these guys get healed up a little bit. They're beat up.
Because one of the last things I'll leave you with is one of my favorite quotes post-game, Beckman. I don't I've never won shootouts before. I don't like winning shootouts. I'm not going to win them. We're like, welcome to OSU. They win a lot of shootouts. He's determined it's not going to happen again because they had a good 14 quarters in a row. But he was a little ticked off. He was glad they got the win, but he's like, I don't want to get in these shootouts anymore. That's not my style.
That's not much
so
fun
at least you hear that from him instead of Bedford and some of the guys in the past. Bill Clay, oh, we won. That's all that counts is the W. Beckman's like, I'm glad we won. It's good we won, but I don't want these shootouts anymore. So they get the bye week, like we said. So we'll talk to you next week on podcast, some stories in the newspaper, some interesting stories, I think, before we got everybody. And guess what? When you come back, it's another home game. It's against the Texas Longhorns. They haven't beaten them in 9 straight times. Texas is a little down. We can only hope for so much excitement as we've seen the last 2 home games.